Hello friends and welcome to my video. Today we are playing a game. Based on the reading I have done recently, it is obvious that lots of people still do not know much about a real life in Soviet Union, and it is often presented from the propagandist point of view, just the way Soviets wanted it. The transcontinental country, which existed from 1922 to 1991, held a very secretive policy, and it was quite weird too. And I do not think lots of people know about those weird things, and enough people talk about them. So try to guess what was myth and what was fact about Soviet Union, and wait for your rewards in the end of this video. Before we start with the actual game, I would like you to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you, and let's start. Everyone was equal in Soviet Union. It's really ironic, I would say, because the belief that every person was equal in Soviet Union was the core for the Soviet Union, and it was the premise of 1917's October Revolution led by Lenin, which claimed that their goal was to give power to public, which was oppressed by monarchy before. But Soviet Union has never kept this promise. There were many cases proving the injustice of the system. Let's talk about the least offensive one. For example, first in Soviet Russia and then in other Soviet republics, a shop called Berezka opened. One could buy the imported goods at this shop, but the shop did not accept the Soviet ruble, which was the currency at that time. There were two payment options. First one was to pay with using US dollars, and the second one meant to pay with the special cards which were given to only the members of elite. And since having foreign currency meant breaking law, shops only served the members of privileged elite society. Not much of equality, is it? Black market was thriving.
Correct.
Actually, this is a fact. Limited and chaotic production and ever-growing corruption created a demand to black market. This is how it worked. The shop owners would hide and sell a better quality item. The trusted customer was aware of this, so after being offered a bit more than government decided price, the shop owners were happy to sell it for this price. That's why in Georgian we still have a phrase which literally can be translated as under the shelf, and it is used when there is a fish business going. Everything was cheap in Soviet Union. That's another everlasting myth. The people who claim that Soviet Union was a heaven of cheap goods are the ones who were born or raised in 60s or 70s USSR, because people who were raised before were the ones who experienced World War II, and it definitely was nothing like cheap heaven. But even if you had money, because of the bureaucracy and because of the corruption, you had to wait for ages to get what you wanted.
That this man, he laid down his money, and then the fellow that was in charge said to him, "Okay, come back in 10 years and get your car." And he said, "Morning or afternoon?" And the fellow behind the counter said, "Well, 10 years from now, what difference does it make?" And he said, "Well, the plumber's coming in the morning."
There were no serial killers in Soviet Union. Every country has a serial killer. Regardless the economy, regardless the happiness level of the society, once in a while you get people with this kind of mindset. Obviously, Soviet Union having about 299 million citizens and being this huge country had some serial killers. Government was just turning blind eye on the problem. I guess that was the way of escaping the responsibility. Do not call the crime its name, so you can always say that you do not have this crime, or do not call your war a war and just call it special operation, and no one will be able to blame you for war. But guess this one did not work out. Dogs were sent to space.
Correct.
In fact, it's a fact. Before Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space, would get this title in 1961, a year earlier, USSR tested the space mission on two dogs, Strelka and Belka. They spent a day in spaceship Garab Sputnik 2 and safely returned to Earth. What I did not know was that they were accompanied by a grey rabbit, 42 mice, 2 rats, flies, and several plants. SSR Saxaniet. Oh my god, this is my favorite.
One.
So this catchphrase actually comes from TV show. In 1986, two television hosts organized one of the first telebridge broadcast, which aimed to bring people together. During this discussion, American participant posed a question to a Russian woman, and the Soviet participant Ludmila Ivanova replied, "We have no and we are strictly opposed to it." It exposes the whole idea how people lived in Soviet Union and how propaganda worked, because naturally people had come on, my parents were born in Soviet Union, so many people lived in Soviet Union, people had but the idea and even like admitting that it's considered so immoral and so Western because of the propaganda going, that people could not even say out loud that, for example, yes, they had sexual relationships. Obviously, it's a myth. No one would be able to cope with the Soviet regime without having. By the way, did you know that Stalin announced masturbation illegal? If you want me to make a video about some other weird things about Soviet Union which you might not know, let me know in the comments, and I'm more than happy to fill you with random, totally unnecessary but funny information about this country. Religion was banned in Soviet Union.
Correct.
This is a tricky one, honestly, because officially religion was not banned. The government of Soviet Union followed an unofficial policy of state atheism, but in its worst way possible, because they used to demolish the churches, punish people, send them to gulags, send them to Siberia for practicing religion. But on the official policy level, it did not say anything about religion being banned. They were just trying to gradually eliminate religious beliefs with its borders. Soviet Union loved Bollywood.
Correct.
Vibrant music, love stories, love triangles, and all these offered a way to escape from the reality. Princess Anastasia managed to escape Bolsheviks.
One.
So the October Revolution I mentioned before was the end of the monarchy, and unfortunately Bolsheviks showed no mercy towards their royals. Tsar Nicholas II and his wife Tsarina Alexandra Fyodorovna with their 5 children were executed. But obviously everyone wants to believe this beautiful fairy tale that Anastasia managed to escape Bolsheviks and she made life in the US. I guess Fox's animation also contributed to this myth, but unfortunately it's a myth. DNA testing by multiple international laboratories have confirmed that the remains belong to Tsarevich Alexei and one of his sisters, so supposedly it would be Anastasia, because others were already found at the time, the older ones. Stalin was a poet.
Correct.
Stalin was the man of many talents, I must admit. Before becoming Stalin, he was Joseph Jugashvili, a Georgian guy living in a little town called Gori. And he had many interests, and one of them was writing poems. And I did my best to translate one of his poems, and you can see it here. What can we learn from this story? Never up with an artist. They will have the worst comeback possible. This is our game completed. I'm dying to know your score, so go to the comment section and let me know how much you got. If you are interested in this kind of video, let me know and I will definitely come back with a post-Soviet edition. Thank you, bye!